Be anxious about.
Be anxious about.
を心配している。
She is anxious about the exam results.
She is anxious about the exam results.
彼女は試験の結果を心配している。
He is anxious about his future.
He is anxious about his future.
彼は自分の将来を心配している。
They are anxious about the upcoming event.
They are anxious about the upcoming event.
彼らは今後のイベントを心配している。
Be anxious about.
Be anxious about.
Be based on.
Be based on.
に基づいている。
The movie is based on a true story.
The movie is based on a true story.
その映画は実話に基づいている。
His theory is based on extensive research.
His theory is based on extensive research.
彼の理論は広範な研究に基づいている。
Their decision is based on the evidence presented.
Their decision is based on the evidence presented.
彼らの決定は提示された証拠に基づいている。
Be based on.
Be based on.
Be busy with.
Be busy with.
で忙しい。
She is busy with her homework.
She is busy with her homework.
彼女は宿題で忙しい。
He is busy with work this week.
He is busy with work this week.
彼は今週仕事で忙しい。
They are busy with preparations for the festival.
They are busy with preparations for the festival.
彼らは祭りの準備で忙しい。
Be busy with.
Be busy with.
Be composed of.
Be composed of.
で構成されている。
The committee is composed of experts.
The committee is composed of experts.
委員会は専門家で構成されている。
His team is composed of diverse members.
His team is composed of diverse members.
彼のチームは多様なメンバーで構成されている。
The book is composed of several chapters.
The book is composed of several chapters.
その本は数章で構成されている。
Be composed of.
Be composed of.
Be concerned about.
Be concerned about.
を心配している。
She is concerned about her health.
She is concerned about her health.
彼女は自分の健康を心配している。
He is concerned about the environment.
He is concerned about the environment.
彼は環境を心配している。
They are concerned about the company's future.
They are concerned about the company's future.
彼らは会社の将来を心配している。
Be concerned about.
Be concerned about.
Be concerned with.
Be concerned with.
に関係している。
The report is concerned with climate change.
The report is concerned with climate change.
その報告書は気候変動に関するものだ。
She is concerned with social issues.
She is concerned with social issues.
彼女は社会問題に関心がある。
He is concerned with the project details.
He is concerned with the project details.
彼はプロジェクトの詳細に関心がある。
Be concerned with.
Be concerned with.
Be confident of.
Be confident of.
を確信している。
She is confident of her success.
She is confident of her success.
彼女は自分の成功を確信している。
He is confident of winning the game.
He is confident of winning the game.
彼は試合に勝つことを確信している。
They are confident of their decision.
They are confident of their decision.
彼らは自分たちの決定に確信を持っている。
Be confident of.
Be confident of.
Be conscious of.
Be conscious of.
を意識している。
She is conscious of her appearance.
She is conscious of her appearance.
彼女は自分の外見を意識している。
He is conscious of the time.
He is conscious of the time.
彼は実感を意識している。
They are conscious of their responsibilities.
They are conscious of their responsibilities.
彼らは自分たちの責任を意識している。
Be conscious of.
Be conscious of.
Be contrary to.
Be contrary to.
に反している。
His actions are contrary to the rules.
His actions are contrary to the rules.
彼の行動は規則に反している。
The results are contrary to expectations.
The results are contrary to expectations.
結果は予想に反している。
Her views are contrary to popular belief.
Her views are contrary to popular belief.
彼女の見解は一般的な信念に反している。
Be contrary to.
Be contrary to.
Be convinced of.
Be convinced of.
を確信している。
She is convinced of his innocence.
She is convinced of his innocence.
彼女は彼の無実を確信している。
He is convinced of the theory's validity.
He is convinced of the theory's validity.
彼はその理論の有効性を確信している。
They are convinced of their success.
They are convinced of their success.
彼らは自分たちの成功を確信している。
Be convinced of.
Be convinced of.
Be dependent on.
Be dependent on.
に依存している。
She is dependent on her parents for support.
She is dependent on her parents for support.
彼女は支援を親に依存している。
He is dependent on technology for his work.
He is dependent on technology for his work.
彼は仕事に技術を依存している。
They are dependent on each other.
They are dependent on each other.
彼らはお互いに依存している。
Be dependent on.
Be dependent on.
Be derived from.
Be derived from.
に由来する。
The word is derived from Latin.
The word is derived from Latin.
その単語はラテン語に由来する。
His name is derived from his grandfather's name.
His name is derived from his grandfather's name.
彼の名前は祖父の名前に由来する。
The tradition is derived from ancient customs.
The tradition is derived from ancient customs.
その伝統は古代の習慣に由来する。
Be derived from.
Be derived from.
Be devoted to.
Be devoted to.
に専念している。
She is devoted to her family.
She is devoted to her family.
彼女は家族に専念している。
He is devoted to his work.
He is devoted to his work.
彼は仕事に専念している。
They are devoted to their cause.
They are devoted to their cause.
彼らは自分たちの目的に専念している。
Be devoted to.
Be devoted to.
Be disappointed with.
Be disappointed with.
に失望している。
She was disappointed with the results.
She was disappointed with the results.
彼女は結果に失望した。
He was disappointed with his performance.
He was disappointed with his performance.
彼は自分のパフォーマンスに失望した。
They were disappointed with the service.
They were disappointed with the service.
彼らはサービスに失望した。
Be disappointed with.
Be disappointed with.
Be eager to.
Be eager to.
することを切望している。
She is eager to start her new job.
She is eager to start her new job.
彼女は新しい仕事を始めることを切望している。
He is eager to learn new skills.
He is eager to learn new skills.
彼は新しいスキルを学ぶことを切望している。
They are eager to meet their friends.
They are eager to meet their friends.
彼らは友達に会うことを切望している。
Be eager to.
Be eager to.
Be eligible for.
Be eligible for.
の資格がある。
She is eligible for the scholarship.
She is eligible for the scholarship.
彼女は奨学金の資格がある。
He is eligible for the promotion.
He is eligible for the promotion.
彼は昇進の資格がある。
They are eligible for the benefits.
They are eligible for the benefits.
彼らは福利厚生の資格がある。
Be eligible for.
Be eligible for.
Be equipped with.
Be equipped with.
を備えている。
The car is equipped with the latest technology.
The car is equipped with the latest technology.
その車は最新の技術を備えている。
The kitchen is equipped with modern appliances.
The kitchen is equipped with modern appliances.
キッチンは最新の電化製品を備えている。
The office is equipped with high-speed internet.
The office is equipped with high-speed internet.
オフィスは高速インターネットを備えている。
Be equipped with.
Be equipped with.
Be essential to.
Be essential to.
に不可欠である。
Water is essential to life.
Water is essential to life.
水は生命に不可欠である。
Good communication is essential to the project.
Good communication is essential to the project.
良いコミュニケーションはプロジェクトに不可欠である。
Healthy eating is essential to well-being.
Healthy eating is essential to well-being.
健康的な食事は健康に不可欠である。
Be essential to.
Be essential to.
Be familiar to.
Be familiar to.
に知られている。
Her face is familiar to me.
Her face is familiar to me.
彼女の顔は私に見覚えがある。
The name is familiar to many people.
The name is familiar to many people.
その名前は多くの人に知られている。
The melody is familiar to everyone.
The melody is familiar to everyone.
そのメロディーはみんなに知られている。
Be familiar to.
Be familiar to.
Be famous for.
Be famous for.
で有名である。
Paris is famous for its fashion.
Paris is famous for its fashion.
パリはそのファッションで有名である。
He is famous for his paintings.
He is famous for his paintings.
彼はその絵画で有名である。
They are famous for their hospitality.
They are famous for their hospitality.
彼らはそのおもてなしで有名である。
Be famous for.
Be famous for.
Be fed up with.
Be fed up with.
にうんざりしている。
She is fed up with the noise.
She is fed up with the noise.
彼女は騒音にうんざりしている。
He is fed up with his job.
He is fed up with his job.
彼は仕事にうんざりしている。
They are fed up with the delays.
They are fed up with the delays.
彼らは遅延にうんざりしている。
Be fed up with.
Be fed up with.
Be filled with.
Be filled with.
でいっぱいである。
The room was filled with laughter.
The room was filled with laughter.
部屋は笑い声でいっぱいだった。
His heart was filled with joy.
His heart was filled with joy.
彼の心は喜びで満ちていた。
The box was filled with old photos.
The box was filled with old photos.
箱は古い写真でいっぱいだった。
Be filled with.
Be filled with.
Be fond of.
Be fond of.
を好む。
She is fond of chocolate.
She is fond of chocolate.
彼女はチョコレートが好きだ。
He is fond of playing the piano.
He is fond of playing the piano.
彼はピアノを弾くのが好きだ。
They are fond of each other.
They are fond of each other.
彼らはお互いに好意を持っている。
Be fond of.
Be fond of.
Be free from.
Be free from.
がない。
The area is free from pollution.
The area is free from pollution.
その地域は汚染がない。
He is free from debt.
He is free from debt.
彼は借金がない。
They are free from any obligations.
They are free from any obligations.
彼らには義務がない。
Be free from.
Be free from.
Be full of.
Be full of.
でいっぱいである。
The bag is full of groceries.
The bag is full of groceries.
バッグは食料品でいっぱいだ。
His mind is full of ideas.
His mind is full of ideas.
彼の頭の中はアイデアでいっぱいだ。
The sky was full of stars.
The sky was full of stars.
空は星でいっぱいだった。
Be full of.
Be full of.
Be guilty of.
Be guilty of.
の罪を犯している。
He was found guilty of theft.
He was found guilty of theft.
彼は窃盗の罪を犯していた。
She felt guilty of lying.
She felt guilty of lying.
彼女は嘘をついたことを後悔していた。
They were guilty of breaking the rules.
They were guilty of breaking the rules.
彼らは規則を破った罪を犯していた。
Be guilty of.
Be guilty of.
Be identical to.
Be identical to.
と同一である。
His response was identical to mine.
His response was identical to mine.
彼の反応は私のものと同一だった。
The twins are identical to each other.
The twins are identical to each other.
双子はお互いに同一である。
The copies are identical to the originals.
The copies are identical to the originals.
コピーはオリジナルと同一である。
Be identical to.
Be identical to.
Be indifferent to.
Be indifferent to.
に無関心である。
He is indifferent to politics.
He is indifferent to politics.
彼は政治に無関心だ。
She is indifferent to fashion trends.
She is indifferent to fashion trends.
彼女はファッショントレンドに無関心だ。
They are indifferent to the outcome.
They are indifferent to the outcome.
彼らは結果に無関心だ。
Be indifferent to.
Be indifferent to.
Be inferior to.
Be inferior to.
より劣っている。
This product is inferior to the other brand.
This product is inferior to the other brand.
この製品は他のブランドより劣っている。
His performance was inferior to hers.
His performance was inferior to hers.
彼のパフォーマンスは彼女のものより劣っていた。
The service here is inferior to what we experienced last time.
The service here is inferior to what we experienced last time.
ここのサービスは前回経験したものより劣っている。
Be inferior to.
Be inferior to.
Be involved in.
Be involved in.
に関与している。
She is involved in many community activities.
She is involved in many community activities.
彼女は多くの地域活動に関与している。
He is involved in the new project at work.
He is involved in the new project at work.
彼は職場の新しいプロジェクトに関与している。
They are involved in the charity event.
They are involved in the charity event.
彼らはチャリティーイベントに関与している。
Be involved in.
Be involved in.
Be jealous of.
Be jealous of.
をやむ。
She is jealous of her sister's achievements.
She is jealous of her sister's achievements.
彼女は姉の業績を妬んでいる。
He is jealous of his friend's new car.
He is jealous of his friend's new car.
彼は友達の新しい車を妬んでいる。
They are jealous of each other's success.
They are jealous of each other's success.
彼らはお互いの成功を妬んでいる。
Be jealous of.
Be jealous of.
Be known as.
Be known as.
として知られている。
He is known as a talented musician.
He is known as a talented musician.
彼は才能ある音楽家として知られている。
She is known as the best chef in town.
She is known as the best chef in town.
彼女は街で最高のシェフとして知られている。
They are known as experts in their field.
They are known as experts in their field.
彼らは自分たちの分野の専門家として知られている。
Be known as.
Be known as.
Be late for.
Be late for.
に遅れる。
She was late for the meeting.
She was late for the meeting.
彼女は会議に遅れた。
He is often late for school.
He is often late for school.
彼はよく学校に遅れる。
They were late for the movie.
They were late for the movie.
彼らは映画に遅れた。
Be late for.
Be late for.
Be made from.
Be made from.
から作られている。
Wine is made from grapes.
Wine is made from grapes.
ワインはブドウから作られている。
This chair is made from recycled materials.
This chair is made from recycled materials.
この椅子はリサイクル素材から作られている。
The dish is made from fresh ingredients.
The dish is made from fresh ingredients.
その料理は新鮮な材料から作られている。
Be made from.
Be made from.
Be made of.
Be made of.
でできている。
The table is made of wood.
The table is made of wood.
そのテーブルは木でできている。
The necklace is made of gold.
The necklace is made of gold.
そのネックレスは金でできている。
The house is made of bricks.
The house is made of bricks.
その家はレンガでできている。
Be made of.
Be made of.
Be married to.
Be married to.
と結婚している。
She is married to a famous actor.
She is married to a famous actor.
彼女は有名な俳優と結婚している。
He is married to his high school sweetheart.
He is married to his high school sweetheart.
彼は高校時代の恋人と結婚している。
They have been married to each other for 10 years.
They have been married to each other for 10 years.
彼らはお互いに10年間結婚している。
Be married to.
Be married to.
Be opposed to.
Be opposed to.
に反対している。
She is opposed to the new policy.
She is opposed to the new policy.
彼女は新しい政策に反対している。
He is opposed to the idea of cutting down trees.
He is opposed to the idea of cutting down trees.
彼は木を切るという考えに反対している。
They are opposed to the changes in the schedule.
They are opposed to the changes in the schedule.
彼らはスケジュールの変更に反対している。
Be opposed to.
Be opposed to.
Be particular about.
Be particular about.
についてこだわる。
She is very particular about her appearance.
She is very particular about her appearance.
彼女は自分の外見に非常にこだわる。
He is particular about the way his coffee is made.
He is particular about the way his coffee is made.
彼はコーヒーの作り方にこだわる。
They are particular about the quality of their products.
They are particular about the quality of their products.
彼らは製品の品質にこだわる。
Be particular about.
Be particular about.
Be popular with.
Be popular with.
に人気がある。
She is popular with her classmates.
She is popular with her classmates.
彼女はクラスメートに人気がある。
He is popular with the customers.
He is popular with the customers.
彼は顧客に人気がある。
The brand is popular with young people.
The brand is popular with young people.
そのブランドは若者に人気がある。
Be popular with.
Be popular with.
Be preferable to.
Be preferable to.
より好ましい。
Traveling by train is preferable to flying.
Traveling by train is preferable to flying.
電車での旅行は飛行機より好ましい。
This method is preferable to the previous one.
This method is preferable to the previous one.
この方法は前の方法より好ましい。
Staying home is preferable to going out in this weather.
Staying home is preferable to going out in this weather.
この天気では外出するより家にいる方が好ましい。
Be preferable to.
Be preferable to.
Be present at.
Be present at.
に出席している。
She was present at the meeting.
She was present at the meeting.
彼女は会議に出席していた。
He was present at the event.
He was present at the event.
彼はそのイベントに出席していた。
They were present at the ceremony.
They were present at the ceremony.
彼らは式典に出席していた。
Be present at.
Be present at.
Be proud of.
Be proud of.
を誇りに思う。
She is proud of her achievements.
She is proud of her achievements.
彼女は自分の業績を誇りに思っている。
He is proud of his son's progress.
He is proud of his son's progress.
彼は息子の進歩を誇りに思っている。
They are proud of their cultural heritage.
They are proud of their cultural heritage.
彼らは自分たちの文化遺産を誇りに思っている。
Be proud of.
Be proud of.
Be responsible for.
Be responsible for.
に責任がある。
She is responsible for the project's success.
She is responsible for the project's success.
彼女はプロジェクトの成功に責任がある。
He is responsible for managing the team.
He is responsible for managing the team.
彼はチームの管理に責任がある。
They are responsible for the company's finances.
They are responsible for the company's finances.
彼らは会社の財務に責任がある。
Be responsible for.
Be responsible for.
Be rich in.
Be rich in.
に富んでいる。
This region is rich in natural resources.
This region is rich in natural resources.
この地域は天然資源に富んでいる。
The diet is rich in vitamins.
The diet is rich in vitamins.
その食事はビタミンに富んでいる。
The country is rich in cultural history.
The country is rich in cultural history.
その国は文化的歴史に富んでいる。
Be rich in.
Be rich in.
Be satisfied with.
Be satisfied with.
に満足している。
She is satisfied with her job.
She is satisfied with her job.
彼女は自分の仕事に満足している。
He is satisfied with the results.
He is satisfied with the results.
彼は結果に満足している。
They are satisfied with their performance.
They are satisfied with their performance.
彼らは自分たちのパフォーマンスに満足している。
Be satisfied with.
Be satisfied with.
Be sorry for.
Be sorry for.
をすまなく思う。
She is sorry for being late.
She is sorry for being late.
彼女は遅刻をすまなく思っている。
He is sorry for the mistake.
He is sorry for the mistake.
彼はそのミスをすまなく思っている。
They are sorry for the inconvenience.
They are sorry for the inconvenience.
彼らは不便をすまなく思っている。
Be sorry for.
Be sorry for.
Be subject to.
Be subject to.
の影響を受ける。
Prices are subject to change without notice.
Prices are subject to change without notice.
価格は予告なしに変更される場合があります。
The schedule is subject to alteration.
The schedule is subject to alteration.
スケジュールは変更される場合があります。
The terms are subject to approval.
The terms are subject to approval.
条件は承認の対象となります。
Be subject to.
Be subject to.
Be superior to.
Be superior to.
より優れている。
This model is superior to the previous one.
This model is superior to the previous one.
このモデルは前のモデルより優れている。
Her performance was superior to his.
Her performance was superior to his.
彼女のパフォーマンスは彼のものより優れていた。
Their product is superior to competitors.
Their product is superior to competitors.
彼らの製品は競合製品より優れている。
Be superior to.
Be superior to.
Be sure of.
Be sure of.
を確信している。
She is sure of her decision.
She is sure of her decision.
彼女は自分の決定を確信している。
He is sure of winning the prize.
He is sure of winning the prize.
彼は賞を取ることを確信している。
They are sure of their victory.
They are sure of their victory.
彼らは自分たちの勝利を確信している。
Be sure of.
Be sure of.
Be worried about.
Be worried about.
を心配している。
She is worried about her health.
She is worried about her health.
彼女は自分の健康を心配している。
He is worried about his exam results.
He is worried about his exam results.
彼は試験の結果を心配している。
They are worried about the future.
They are worried about the future.
彼らは将来を心配している。
Be worried about.
Be worried about.
Break away from.
Break away from.
から逃れる。
She broke away from the group.
She broke away from the group.
彼女はグループから逃れた。
He broke away from his old habits.
He broke away from his old habits.
彼は古い習慣から逃れた。
They broke away from the tradition.
They broke away from the tradition.
彼らは伝統から逃れた。
Break away from.
Break away from.
Break into.
Break into.
に侵入する。
Someone broke into her house last night.
Someone broke into her house last night.
昨晩誰かが彼女の家に侵入した。
He broke into the car.
He broke into the car.
彼は車に侵入した。
They broke into the office.
They broke into the office.
彼らはオフィスに侵入した。
Break into.
Break into.
Break up with.
Break up with.
と別れる。
She broke up with her boyfriend.
She broke up with her boyfriend.
彼女は彼氏と別れた。
He broke up with his girlfriend.
He broke up with his girlfriend.
彼は彼女と別れた。
They decided to break up with each other.
They decided to break up with each other.
彼らはお互いに別れることを決めた。
Break up with.
Break up with.
Bring about.
Bring about.
をもたらす。
The new law brought about significant changes.
The new law brought about significant changes.
新しい法律は大きな変化をもたらした。
Her efforts brought about positive results.
Her efforts brought about positive results.
彼女の努力は良い結果をもたらした。
They brought about a revolution in the industry.
They brought about a revolution in the industry.
彼らは業界に革命をもたらした。
Bring about.
Bring about.
Bring in.
Bring in.
をもたらす。
The new product brought in a lot of revenue.
The new product brought in a lot of revenue.
新製品は多くの収益をもたらした。
Her ideas brought in new customers.
Her ideas brought in new customers.
彼女のアイデアは新しい顧客をもたらした。
They brought in experts to help with the project.
They brought in experts to help with the project.
彼らはプロジェクトを手伝うために専門家を招いた。
Bring in.
Bring in.
Bring out.
Bring out.
を引き出す。
The teacher brought out the best in her students.
The teacher brought out the best in her students.
先生は生徒たちの最善を引き出した。
The book brings out the beauty of nature.
The book brings out the beauty of nature.
その本は自然の美しさを引き出している。
The event brought out a lot of people.
The event brought out a lot of people.
イベントには多くの人々が集まった。
Bring out.
Bring out.
Call for.
Call for.
を要求する。
The situation calls for immediate action.
The situation calls for immediate action.
状況は即時の行動を要求している。
They called for an investigation.
They called for an investigation.
彼らは調査を要求した。
The plan calls for careful consideration.
The plan calls for careful consideration.
計画は慎重な検討を要求している。
Call for.
Call for.
Call in.
Call in.
を呼び入れる。
They called in a specialist to examine the case.
They called in a specialist to examine the case.
彼らはケースを調査するために専門家を呼び入れた。
She called in her friends for help.
She called in her friends for help.
彼女は助けを求めて友人を呼び入れた。
He called in sick to work.
He called in sick to work.
彼は仕事に病欠を申し入れた。
Call in.
Call in.
Call on.
Call on.
を訪問する。
She called on her neighbors.
She called on her neighbors.
彼女は隣人を訪問した。
He called on his old teacher.
He called on his old teacher.
彼は昔の先生を訪問した。
They called on the mayor to discuss the issue.
They called on the mayor to discuss the issue.
彼らは問題を議論するために市長を訪問した。
Call on.
Call on.
Carry on.
Carry on.
を続ける。
She decided to carry on with her studies.
She decided to carry on with her studies.
彼女は勉強を続けることに決めた。
He carried on working despite the difficulties.
He carried on working despite the difficulties.
彼は困難にもかかわらず仕事を続けた。
They carried on with their journey.
They carried on with their journey.
彼らは旅を続けた。
Carry on.
Carry on.
Carry out.
Carry out.
を実行する。
She carried out the plan successfully.
She carried out the plan successfully.
彼女は計画を成功裏に実行した。
He carried out the experiment carefully.
He carried out the experiment carefully.
彼は実験を慎重に実行した。
They carried out the project on time.
They carried out the project on time.
彼らはプロジェクトを時間通りに実行した。
Carry out.
Carry out.
Catch sight of.
Catch sight of.
を見つける。
She caught sight of him in the crowd.
She caught sight of him in the crowd.
彼女は群衆の中で彼を見つけた。
He caught sight of a shooting star.
He caught sight of a shooting star.
彼は流れ星を見つけた。
They caught sight of the rare bird.
They caught sight of the rare bird.
彼らは珍しい鳥を見つけた。
Catch sight of.
Catch sight of.
Check in.
Check in.
チェックインする。
They checked in at the hotel.
They checked in at the hotel.
彼らはホテルにチェックインした。
She checked in for her flight online.
She checked in for her flight online.
彼女はオンラインで飛行機にチェックインした。
He checked in at the conference.
He checked in at the conference.
彼は会議にチェックインした。
Check in.
Check in.
Check up on.
Check up on.
を確認する。
She checked up on her friend after the accident.
She checked up on her friend after the accident.
彼女は事故の後に友人の様子を確認した。
He checked up on the progress of the project.
He checked up on the progress of the project.
彼はプロジェクトの進捗を確認した。
They checked up on their neighbors during the storm.
They checked up on their neighbors during the storm.
彼らは嵐の間に隣人の様子を確認した。
Check up on.
Check up on.
Come across.
Come across.
に偶然出会う。
She came across an old photo in the attic.
She came across an old photo in the attic.
彼女は屋根裏で古い写真に偶然出会った。
He came across a good restaurant.
He came across a good restaurant.
彼は良いレストランに偶然出会った。
They came across a solution to the problem.
They came across a solution to the problem.
彼らは問題の解決策に偶然出会った。
Come across.
Come across.
Come back.
Come back.
戻る。
She will come back from her trip next week.
She will come back from her trip next week.
彼女は来週旅行から戻る。
He came back to the office after lunch.
He came back to the office after lunch.
彼は昼食後にオフィスに戻った。
They came back home late at night.
They came back home late at night.
彼らは夜遅く家に戻った。
Come back.
Come back.
Come by.
Come by.
を手に入れる。
She came by a rare book at the market.
She came by a rare book at the market.
彼女は市場で珍しい本を手に入れた。
He came by some extra tickets for the concert.
He came by some extra tickets for the concert.
彼はコンサートの追加チケットを手に入れた。
They came by an old coin collection.
They came by an old coin collection.
彼らは古いコインのコレクションを手に入れた。
Come by.
Come by.
Come down with.
Come down with.
にかかる。
She came down with the flu.
She came down with the flu.
彼女はインフルエンザにかかった。
He came down with a cold.
He came down with a cold.
彼は風邪をひいた。
They came down with food poisoning.
They came down with food poisoning.
彼らは食中毒にかかった。
Come down with.
Come down with.
Come up against.
Come up against.
に直面する。
She came up against many challenges in her career.
She came up against many challenges in her career.
彼女はキャリアで多くの課題に直面した。
He came up against strong opposition.
He came up against strong opposition.
彼は強い反対に直面した。
They came up against a difficult problem.
They came up against a difficult problem.
彼らは難しい問題に直面した。
Come up against.
Come up against.
Come up with.
Come up with.
を思いつく。
She came up with a brilliant idea.
She came up with a brilliant idea.
彼女は素晴らしいアイデアを思いついた。
He came up with a solution to the problem.
He came up with a solution to the problem.
彼は問題の解決策を思いついた。
They came up with a new strategy.
They came up with a new strategy.
彼らは新しい戦略を思いついた。
Come up with.
Come up with.
Consist of.
Consist of.
からなる。
The committee consists of 10 members.
The committee consists of 10 members.
委員会は10人のメンバーで構成されている。
The team consists of experts in various fields.
The team consists of experts in various fields.
チームは様々な分野の専門家で構成されている。
The recipe consists of simple ingredients.
The recipe consists of simple ingredients.
レシピはシンプルな材料で構成されている。
Consist of.
Consist of.
Cope with.
Cope with.
に対処する。
She has to cope with a lot of stress at work.
She has to cope with a lot of stress at work.
彼女は仕事のストレスに対処しなければならない。
He copes with his responsibilities well.
He copes with his responsibilities well.
彼は責任をうまく対処している。
They cope with difficult situations effectively.
They cope with difficult situations effectively.
彼らは困難な状況に効果的に対処している。
Cope with.
Cope with.
Count on.
Count on.
を頼りにする。
She can count on her friends for support.
She can count on her friends for support.
彼女は友人の支援を頼りにできる。
He counts on his team to deliver results.
He counts on his team to deliver results.
彼はチームの結果を頼りにしている。
They count on each other in times of need.
They count on each other in times of need.
彼らは必要な時にお互いを頼りにしている。
Count on.
Count on.
Deal with.
Deal with.
に対処する。
She has to deal with many clients daily.
She has to deal with many clients daily.
彼女は毎日多くの顧客に対処しなければならない。
He deals with difficult customers politely.
He deals with difficult customers politely.
彼は難しい顧客に丁寧に対処している。
They deal with complex issues efficiently.
They deal with complex issues efficiently.
彼らは複雑な問題に効率的に対処している。
Deal with.
Deal with.
Do away with.
Do away with.
を廃止する。
They decided to do away with the old system.
They decided to do away with the old system.
彼らは古いシステムを廃止することに決めた。
She wants to do away with unnecessary rules.
She wants to do away with unnecessary rules.
彼女は不要なルールを廃止したいと思っている。
He suggested doing away with the outdated policy.
He suggested doing away with the outdated policy.
彼は時代遅れの方針を廃止することを提案した。
Do away with.
Do away with.
Fall for.
Fall for.
に騙される。
She fell for his lies.
She fell for his lies.
彼女は彼の嘘に騙された。
He fell for a scam.
He fell for a scam.
彼は詐欺に引っかかった。
They fell for the fake news.
They fell for the fake news.
彼らは偽のニュースに騙された。
Fall for.
Fall for.
For a change.
For a change.
気分転換に。
Let's go out for a change.
Let's go out for a change.
気分転換に外出しよう。
She decided to try a new hobby for a change.
She decided to try a new hobby for a change.
彼女は気分転換に新しい趣味を試すことに決めた。
He took a different route for a change.
He took a different route for a change.
彼は気分転換に違うルートを通った。
For a change.
For a change.
For a while.
For a while.
しばらく。
She will stay here for a while.
She will stay here for a while.
彼女はしばらくここに滞在する。
He needs to rest for a while.
He needs to rest for a while.
彼はしばらく休む必要がある。
They decided to wait for a while.
They decided to wait for a while.
彼らはしばらく待つことにした。
For a while.
For a while.
For example.
For example.
例えば、
She likes to travel to different countries, for example, Japan.
She likes to travel to different countries, for example, Japan.
彼女は様々な国を旅行するのが好きだ。例えば、日本。
He enjoys outdoor activities, for example, hiking and camping.
He enjoys outdoor activities, for example, hiking and camping.
彼はアウトドア活動が好きだ。例えば、ハイキングやキャンプ。
They study various subjects, for example, mathematics and science.
They study various subjects, for example, mathematics and science.
彼らは様々な科目を勉強している。例えば、数学や科学。
For example.
For example.
For good.
For good.
永遠に。
He left the city for good.
He left the city for good.
彼はその都市を永遠に去った。
She decided to quit smoking for good.
She decided to quit smoking for good.
彼女は永遠に禁煙することに決めた。
They moved to the countryside for good.
They moved to the countryside for good.
彼らは永遠に田舎に引っ越した。
For good.
For good.
For instance.
For instance.
例えば、
She loves fruits, for instance, apples and bananas.
She loves fruits, for instance, apples and bananas.
彼女は果物が好きだ。例えば、リンゴやバナナ。
He likes to play sports, for instance, soccer and basketball.
He likes to play sports, for instance, soccer and basketball.
彼はスポーツをするのが好きだ。例えば、サッカーやバスケットボール。
They study different languages, for instance, French and Spanish.
They study different languages, for instance, French and Spanish.
彼らは異なる言語を勉強している。例えば、フランス語やスペイン語。
For instance.
For instance.
From now on.
From now on.
今後。
From now on, I will exercise every day.
From now on, I will exercise every day.
今後、毎日運動するつもりだ。
She promised to be more punctual from now on.
She promised to be more punctual from now on.
彼女は今後、もっと時間に正確になると約束した。
From now on, they will work harder.
From now on, they will work harder.
今後、彼らはもっと一生懸命働く。
From now on.
From now on.
Get along with.
Get along with.
と仲良くやっていく。
She gets along with her coworkers.
She gets along with her coworkers.
彼女は同僚と仲良くやっている。
He doesn't get along with his neighbors.
He doesn't get along with his neighbors.
彼は隣人と仲良くやっていない。
They get along with each other very well.
They get along with each other very well.
彼らはお互いに非常に仲良くやっている。
Get along with.
Get along with.
Get around.
Get around.
を避ける。
He managed to get around the problem.
He managed to get around the problem.
彼は問題をうまく避けた。
She tried to get around the traffic jam.
She tried to get around the traffic jam.
彼女は交通渋滞を避けようとした。
They found a way to get around the rules.
They found a way to get around the rules.
彼らはルールを避ける方法を見つけた。
Get around.
Get around.
Get away with.
Get away with.
をうまくやる。
He got away with cheating on the test.
He got away with cheating on the test.
彼はテストでカンニングをうまくやり過ごした。
She got away with not paying the bill.
She got away with not paying the bill.
彼女は請求書を支払わずに済んだ。
They got away with their prank.
They got away with their prank.
彼らはいたずらをうまくやり過ごした。
Get away with.
Get away with.
Get in touch with.
Get in touch with.
と連絡を取る。
She needs to get in touch with her old friend.
She needs to get in touch with her old friend.
彼女は昔の友人と連絡を取る必要がある。
He got in touch with the client via email.
He got in touch with the client via email.
彼はメールでクライアントと連絡を取った。
They got in touch with the company about the job offer.
They got in touch with the company about the job offer.
彼らは仕事のオファーについて会社と連絡を取った。
Get in touch with.
Get in touch with.
Get off.
Get off.
から降りる。
She got off the bus at the next stop.
She got off the bus at the next stop.
彼女は次の停留所でバスを降りた。
He got off the train at the wrong station.
He got off the train at the wrong station.
彼は間違った駅で電車を降りた。
They got off the plane and headed to customs.
They got off the plane and headed to customs.
彼らは飛行機を降りて税関に向かった。
Get off.
Get off.
Get on.
Get on.
に乗る。
She got on the bus to go to work.
She got on the bus to go to work.
彼女は仕事に行くためにバスに乗った。
He got on the train just in time.
He got on the train just in time.
彼はちょうど間に合って電車に乗った。
They got on the plane and found their seats.
They got on the plane and found their seats.
彼らは飛行機に乗り、席を見つけた。
Get on.
Get on.
Get out of.
Get out of.
から降りる。
She got out of the car quickly.
She got out of the car quickly.
彼女は素早く車から降りた。
He got out of the taxi at the hotel.
He got out of the taxi at the hotel.
彼はホテルでタクシーから降りた。
They got out of the bus at the final stop.
They got out of the bus at the final stop.
彼らは最終停留所でバスから降りた。
Get out of.
Get out of.
Get over.
Get over.
を克服する。
She got over her fear of heights.
She got over her fear of heights.
彼女は高所恐怖症を克服した。
He got over the flu quickly.
He got over the flu quickly.
彼はインフルエンザをすぐに克服した。
They got over their argument and made up.
They got over their argument and made up.
彼らは口論を克服して仲直りした。
Get over.
Get over.
Get rid of.
Get rid of.
を取り除く。
She wants to get rid of old clothes.
She wants to get rid of old clothes.
彼女は古い服を処分したい。
He got rid of the clutter in his room.
He got rid of the clutter in his room.
彼は部屋の散らかりを片付けた。
They got rid of the pests in their garden.
They got rid of the pests in their garden.
彼らは庭の害虫を駆除した。
Get rid of.
Get rid of.
Get through.
Get through.
を乗り越える。
She got through a tough week at work.
She got through a tough week at work.
彼女は仕事で厳しい一週間を乗り越えた。
He got through the exam without any problems.
He got through the exam without any problems.
彼は問題なく試験を乗り越えた。
They got through the storm safely.
They got through the storm safely.
彼らは嵐を無事に乗り越えた。
Get through.
Get through.
Give out.
Give out.
を配る。
She gave out flyers for the event.
She gave out flyers for the event.
彼女はイベントのチラシを配った。
He gave out snacks to the children.
He gave out snacks to the children.
彼は子供たちにお菓子を配った。
They gave out awards at the ceremony.
They gave out awards at the ceremony.
彼らは式典で賞を配った。
Give out.
Give out.
Give up.
Give up.
を諦める。
She gave up smoking for her health.
She gave up smoking for her health.
彼女は健康のために喫煙をやめた。
He gave up on his dream of becoming a musician.
He gave up on his dream of becoming a musician.
彼はミュージシャンになる夢を諦めた。
They gave up trying to fix the old car.
They gave up trying to fix the old car.
彼らは古い車の修理を諦めた。
Give up.
Give up.
Go along with.
Go along with.
に賛成する。
She went along with the group's decision.
She went along with the group's decision.
彼女はグループの決定に賛成した。
He went along with the plan despite his doubts.
He went along with the plan despite his doubts.
彼は疑念があったにもかかわらずその計画に賛成した。
They went along with the changes.
They went along with the changes.
彼らは変更に賛成した。
Go along with.
Go along with.
Go in for.
Go in for.
に参加する。
She decided to go in for the competition.
She decided to go in for the competition.
彼女はその競技に参加することに決めた。
He went in for a new hobby.
He went in for a new hobby.
彼は新しい趣味に参加した。
They went in for the charity event.
They went in for the charity event.
彼らはチャリティーイベントに参加した。
Go in for.
Go in for.
Go off.
Go off.
なる。
The alarm went off at 6 a.m.
The alarm went off at 6 a.m.
目覚まし時計が午前6時になった。
The fire alarm went off during lunch.
The fire alarm went off during lunch.
昼食中に火災警報が鳴った。
The timer went off, signaling the end of the game.
The timer went off, signaling the end of the game.
タイマーが鳴って試合の終了を告げた。
Go off.
Go off.
Have something to do with.
Have something to do with.
と関係がある。
She has something to do with the new project.
She has something to do with the new project.
彼女は新しいプロジェクトに関係がある。
He has something to do with the organization.
He has something to do with the organization.
彼はその組織に関係がある。
They have something to do with the event planning.
They have something to do with the event planning.
彼らはイベントの計画に関係がある。
Have something to do with.
Have something to do with.
Hold out against.
Hold out against.
に耐える。
She held out against the pressure to quit.
She held out against the pressure to quit.
彼女は辞めるというプレッシャーに耐えた。
He held out against the temptation.
He held out against the temptation.
彼は誘惑に耐えた。
They held out against the difficult conditions.
They held out against the difficult conditions.
彼らは厳しい条件に耐えた。
Hold out against.
Hold out against.
Hold up.
Hold up.
を持ち上げる。
He held up the trophy for everyone to see.
He held up the trophy for everyone to see.
彼はみんなが見えるようにトロフィーを持ち上げた。
She held up the sign at the protest.
She held up the sign at the protest.
彼女は抗議でサインを持ち上げた。
They held up their hands in agreement.
They held up their hands in agreement.
彼らは賛成の意を示して手を持ち上げた。
Hold up.
Hold up.
Impose on.
Impose on.
に押し付ける。
He imposed his views on his colleagues.
He imposed his views on his colleagues.
彼は同僚に自分の意見を押し付けた。
She didn't want to impose on their hospitality.
She didn't want to impose on their hospitality.
彼女は彼らのもてなしに押し付けたくなかった。
They imposed strict rules on the students.
They imposed strict rules on the students.
彼らは生徒に厳しい規則を押し付けた。
Impose on.
Impose on.
In addition.
In addition.
加えて。
She is a talented singer. In addition, she plays the guitar.
She is a talented singer. In addition, she plays the guitar.
彼女は才能のある歌手だ。加えて、ギターも弾く。
He works full-time. In addition, he is studying part-time.
He works full-time. In addition, he is studying part-time.
彼はフルタイムで働いている。加えて、パートタイムで勉強している。
They offered free shipping. In addition, they provided a discount.
They offered free shipping. In addition, they provided a discount.
彼らは無料配送を提供した。加えて、割引も提供した。
In addition.
In addition.
In addition to.
In addition to.
に加えて。
In addition to English, she speaks Spanish.
In addition to English, she speaks Spanish.
英語に加えて、彼女はスペイン語を話す。
He works at a restaurant in addition to his studies.
He works at a restaurant in addition to his studies.
彼は勉強に加えてレストランで働いている。
They provided lunch in addition to snacks.
They provided lunch in addition to snacks.
彼らはスナックに加えて昼食も提供した。
In addition to.
In addition to.
In advance.
In advance.
前もって、
She prepared the presentation in advance.
She prepared the presentation in advance.
彼女は前もってプレゼンテーションを準備した。
He booked the tickets in advance.
He booked the tickets in advance.
彼は前もってチケットを予約した。
They planned the trip in advance.
They planned the trip in advance.
彼らは前もって旅行を計画した。
In advance.
In advance.
In brief.
In brief.
手短に、
In brief, the meeting was a success.
In brief, the meeting was a success.
手短に言えば、会議は成功だった。
In brief, they decided to move forward.
In brief, they decided to move forward.
手短に言えば、彼らは前進することに決めた。
In brief, the results are promising.
In brief, the results are promising.
手短に言えば、結果は有望だ。
In brief.
In brief.
In contrast to.
In contrast to.
とは対照的に、
In contrast to her sister, she is very shy.
In contrast to her sister, she is very shy.
彼女の姉とは対照的に、彼女は非常に内気だ。
In contrast to the sunny morning, the afternoon was rainy.
In contrast to the sunny morning, the afternoon was rainy.
晴れた朝とは対照的に、午後は雨が降った。
In contrast to his calm demeanor, he was very upset inside.
In contrast to his calm demeanor, he was very upset inside.
彼の冷静な態度とは対照的に、彼は内心非常に動揺していた。
In contrast to.
In contrast to.
In fact.
In fact.
実際には、
She looks young, but in fact, she is over 40.
She looks young, but in fact, she is over 40.
彼女は若く見えるが、実際には40歳を超えている。
He said he was busy, but in fact, he was just avoiding me.
He said he was busy, but in fact, he was just avoiding me.
彼は忙しいと言ったが、実際には私を避けていただけだ。
In fact, the project was more challenging than expected.
In fact, the project was more challenging than expected.
実際には、プロジェクトは予想以上に困難だった。
In fact.
In fact.
In general.
In general.
一般に、
In general, people are satisfied with the service.
In general, people are satisfied with the service.
一般に、人々はサービスに満足している。
In general, he wakes up early.
In general, he wakes up early.
一般に、彼は早起きだ。
In general, the weather is mild in this region.
In general, the weather is mild in this region.
一般に、この地域の天気は温暖だ。
In general.
In general.
In place.
In place.
その場所に、
The furniture was all in place.
The furniture was all in place.
家具はすべてその場所にあった。
She put the decorations in place.
She put the decorations in place.
彼女は装飾をその場所に置いた。
Everything was in place for the party.
Everything was in place for the party.
パーティーのためにすべてがその場所にあった。
In place.
In place.
In place of.
In place of.
の代わりに、
She used honey in place of sugar.
She used honey in place of sugar.
彼女は砂糖の代わりに蜂蜜を使った。
He went to the meeting in place of his boss.
He went to the meeting in place of his boss.
彼は上司の代わりに会議に出席した。
They used a laptop in place of a desktop.
They used a laptop in place of a desktop.
彼らはデスクトップの代わりにラップトップを使用した。
In place of.
In place of.
In progress.
In progress.
進行中で、
The project is still in progress.
The project is still in progress.
プロジェクトはまだ進行中だ。
The construction is in progress.
The construction is in progress.
建設は進行中だ。
The meeting is currently in progress.
The meeting is currently in progress.
会議は現在進行中だ。
In progress.
In progress.
In short.
In short.
要するに、
In short, we need more time.
In short, we need more time.
要するに、もっと時間が必要だ。
In short, the answer is no.
In short, the answer is no.
要するに、答えはノーだ。
In short, the plan failed.
In short, the plan failed.
要するに、計画は失敗した。
In short.
In short.
In spite of.
In spite of.
にもかかわらず、
She succeeded in spite of the difficulties.
She succeeded in spite of the difficulties.
彼女は困難にもかかわらず成功した。
He went to work in spite of being sick.
He went to work in spite of being sick.
彼は病気にもかかわらず仕事に行った。
They enjoyed the trip in spite of the bad weather.
They enjoyed the trip in spite of the bad weather.
悪天候にもかかわらず、彼らは旅行を楽しんだ。
In spite of.
In spite of.
In terms of.
In terms of.
に関して、
In terms of cost, this option is cheaper.
In terms of cost, this option is cheaper.
費用に関して、このオプションは安い。
In terms of quality, their products are the best.
In terms of quality, their products are the best.
品質に関して、彼らの製品は最高だ。
In terms of time, we need to be efficient.
In terms of time, we need to be efficient.
時間に関して、私たちは効率的である必要がある。
In terms of.
In terms of.
In the course of.
In the course of.
の過程で、
She learned a lot in the course of her studies.
She learned a lot in the course of her studies.
彼女は勉強の過程で多くを学んだ。
He met many people in the course of his work.
He met many people in the course of his work.
彼は仕事の過程で多くの人に会った。
They made progress in the course of the project.
They made progress in the course of the project.
プロジェクトの過程で進展した。
In the course of.
In the course of.
In the end.
In the end.
最終的に、
In the end, they decided to cancel the trip.
In the end, they decided to cancel the trip.
最終的に、彼らは旅行をキャンセルすることに決めた。
She got what she wanted in the end.
She got what she wanted in the end.
最終的に、彼女は欲しいものを手に入れた。
In the end, it was all worth it.
In the end, it was all worth it.
最終的に、それはすべて価値があった。
In the end.
In the end.
In time.
In time.
間に合って、
She arrived just in time for the meeting.
She arrived just in time for the meeting.
彼女は会議にちょうど間に合って到着した。
He finished the project in time.
He finished the project in time.
彼はプロジェクトを時間内に終わらせた。
They got to the airport in time for their flight.
They got to the airport in time for their flight.
彼らはフライトに間に合って空港に到着した。
In time.
In time.
In turn.
In turn.
順番に、
She answered the questions in turn.
She answered the questions in turn.
彼女は順番に質問に答えた。
He spoke in turn at the meeting.
He spoke in turn at the meeting.
彼は会議で順番に話した。
Each team member presented their ideas in turn.
Each team member presented their ideas in turn.
各チームメンバーが順番に自分のアイデアを発表した。
In turn.
In turn.
Inform A of B.
Inform A of B.
A に B を知らせる。
She informed him of the changes.
She informed him of the changes.
彼女は彼に変更を知らせた。
He informed them of the schedule.
He informed them of the schedule.
彼は彼らにスケジュールを知らせた。
They informed the team of the new policy.
They informed the team of the new policy.
彼らはチームに新しい方針を知らせた。
Inform A of B.
Inform A of B.
Invest in.
Invest in.
に投資する。
She invested in the stock market.
She invested in the stock market.
彼女は株式市場に投資した。
He decided to invest in real estate.
He decided to invest in real estate.
彼は不動産に投資することに決めた。
They invest in technology companies.
They invest in technology companies.
彼らは技術企業に投資している。
Invest in.
Invest in.
Keep in mind.
Keep in mind.
覚えておく。
Keep in mind the deadline for the project.
Keep in mind the deadline for the project.
プロジェクトの締め切りを覚えておいてください。
She kept in mind his advice.
She kept in mind his advice.
彼女は彼のアドバイスを覚えておいた。
They need to keep in mind the budget constraints.
They need to keep in mind the budget constraints.
彼らは予算の制約を覚えておく必要がある。
Keep in mind.
Keep in mind.
Keep in touch with.
Keep in touch with.
と連絡を保つ。
She keeps in touch with her old friends.
She keeps in touch with her old friends.
彼女は昔の友達と連絡を持っている。
He keeps in touch with his family regularly.
He keeps in touch with his family regularly.
彼は定期的に家族と連絡を持っている。
They keep in touch with their clients.
They keep in touch with their clients.
彼らはクライアントと連絡を持っている。
Keep in touch with.
Keep in touch with.
Keep up with.
Keep up with.
に遅れずについていく。
She tries to keep up with the latest trends.
She tries to keep up with the latest trends.
彼女は最新のトレンドに遅れずについていこうとしている。
He keeps up with his studies.
He keeps up with his studies.
彼は勉強に遅れずについていく。
They keep up with the news every day.
They keep up with the news every day.
彼らは毎日ニュースに遅れずについていく。
Keep up with.
Keep up with.
Leave out.
Leave out.
を省く。
She left out an important detail in the report.
She left out an important detail in the report.
彼女は報告書で重要な詳細を省いた。
He left out the part about the accident.
He left out the part about the accident.
彼は事故についての部分を省いた。
They left out the introduction.
They left out the introduction.
彼らは導入部分を省いた。
Leave out.
Leave out.
Look back on.
Look back on.
を振り返る。
She looked back on her childhood with fondness.
She looked back on her childhood with fondness.
彼女は幼少期を懐かしんで振り返った。
He looked back on his career and felt proud.
He looked back on his career and felt proud.
彼は自分のキャリアを振り返り、誇りを感じた。
They look back on their travels with joy.
They looked back on their travels with joy.
彼らは旅行を喜びを持って振り返った。
Look back on.
Look back on.
Look down on.
Look down on.
を見下す。
She never looks down on others.
She never looks down on others.
彼女は他人を見下すことはない。
He looks down on people who are rude.
He looks down on people who are rude.
彼は無礼な人々を見下している。
They look down on those who are less fortunate.
They look down on those who are less fortunate.
彼らは恵まれない人々を見下している。
Look down on.
Look down on.
Look out.
Look out.
注意する。
Look out for cars when crossing the street.
Look out for cars when crossing the street.
通りを渡るときは車に注意して。
He told her to look out for pickpockets.
He told her to look out for pickpockets.
彼は彼女にスリに注意するように言った。
They need to look out for changes in the weather.
They need to look out for changes in the weather.
彼らは天候の変化に注意する必要がある。
Look out.
Look out.
Look up.
Look up.
を調べる。
She looked up the word in the dictionary.
She looked up the word in the dictionary.
彼女は辞書でその単語を調べた。
He looked up the address online.
He looked up the address online.
彼はオンラインで住所を調べた。
They looked up information about the event.
They looked up information about the event.
彼らはそのイベントについての情報を調べた。
Look up.
Look up.
Make a decision.
Make a decision.
決定する。
She made a decision to change her career.
She made a decision to change her career.
彼女はキャリアを変える決定をした。
He made a decision to move to a new city.
He made a decision to move to a new city.
彼は新しい都市に引っ越す決定をした。
They made a decision to adopt a child.
They made a decision to adopt a child.
彼らは子供を養子にする決定をした。
Make a decision.
Make a decision.
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
影響を与える。
Her efforts made a difference in the community.
Her efforts made a difference in the community.
彼女の努力は地域社会に影響を与えた。
He believes that small actions can make a difference.
He believes that small actions can make a difference.
彼は小さな行動が影響を与えると信じている。
They hope their donation will make a difference.
They hope their donation will make a difference.
彼らは自分たちの寄付が影響を与えることを望んでいる。
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
Make a living.
Make a living.
生計を立てる。
She makes a living as a writer.
She makes a living as a writer.
彼女は作家として生計を立てている。
He makes a living by selling handmade crafts.
He makes a living by selling handmade crafts.
彼は手作りの工芸品を売って生計を立てている。
They make a living through farming.
They make a living through farming.
彼らは農業で生計を立てている。
Make a living.
Make a living.
Make a mistake.
Make a mistake.
間違える。
She made a mistake on the exam.
She made a mistake on the exam.
彼女は試験で間違えた。
He realized he made a mistake in the report.
He realized he made a mistake in the report.
彼は報告書で間違えたことに気づいた。
They admitted to making a mistake.
They admitted to making a mistake.
彼らは間違えたことを認めた。
Make a mistake.
Make a mistake.
Take up.
Take up.
を始める。
She decided to take up yoga.
She decided to take up yoga.
彼女はヨガを始めることにした。
He took up painting as a hobby.
He took up painting as a hobby.
彼は趣味として絵を描き始めた。
They took up running to stay healthy.
They took up running to stay healthy.
彼らは健康を保つためにランニングを始めた。
Take up.
Take up.
Talk over.
Talk over.
について話し合う。
They talked over the plan with their team.
They talked over the plan with their team.
彼らはチームと計画について話し合った。
She wants to talk over the details with you.
She wants to talk over the details with you.
彼女はあなたと詳細について話し合いたい。
He talked over the project with his boss.
He talked over the project with his boss.
彼は上司とプロジェクトについて話し合った。
Talk over.
Talk over.
Tell A from B.
Tell A from B.
A と B を見分ける。
She can easily tell a cat from a dog.
She can easily tell a cat from a dog.
彼女は簡単に猫と犬を見分けることができる。
He can't tell the twins from each other.
He can't tell the twins from each other.
彼は双子を見分けることができない。
They can tell real diamonds from fake ones.
They can tell real diamonds from fake ones.
彼らは本物のダイヤモンドと偽物を見分けることができる。
Tell A from B.
Tell A from B.
Tell a lie.
Tell a lie.
嘘をつく。
She told a lie to avoid trouble.
She told a lie to avoid trouble.
彼女はトラブルを避けるために嘘をついた。
He admitted that he told a lie.
He admitted that he told a lie.
彼は嘘をついたことを認めた。
They promised not to tell a lie again.
They promised not to tell a lie again.
彼らは二度と嘘をつかないと約束した。
Tell a lie.
Tell a lie.
Think of.
Think of.
を思い出す。
She often thinks of her childhood.
She often thinks of her childhood.
彼女はよく子供時代を思い出す。
He thinks of his family every day.
He thinks of his family every day.
彼は毎日家族のことを思い出す。
They think of their friends fondly.
They think of their friends fondly.
彼らは友人を懐かしく思い出す。
Think of.
Think of.
Turn on.
Turn on.
をつける。
She turned on the lights when she got home.
She turned on the lights when she got home.
彼女は帰宅するとライトをつけた。
He turned on the TV to watch the news.
He turned on the TV to watch the news.
彼はニュースを見るためにテレビをつけた。
They turned on the heater because it was cold.
They turned on the heater because it was cold.
彼らは寒かったのでヒーターをつけた。
Turn on.
Turn on.
Turn out.
Turn out.
であることが判明する。
The rumor turned out to be false.
The rumor turned out to be false.
その噂は間違いであることが判明した。
It turned out that he was right all along.
It turned out that he was right all along.
彼がずっと正しかったことが判明した。
The event turned out to be a great success.
The event turned out to be a great success.
そのイベントは大成功であることが判明した。
Turn out.
Turn out.
Turn to.
Turn to.
に頼る。
She turned to her family for support.
She turned to her family for support.
彼女は支援を家族に頼った。
He turned to his mentor for advice.
He turned to his mentor for advice.
彼はアドバイスをメンターに頼った。
They turned to the community for help.
They turned to the community for help.
彼らは助けを地域社会に頼った。
Turn to.
Turn to.
Turn up.
Turn up.
現れる。
She turned up at the party unexpectedly.
She turned up at the party unexpectedly.
彼女は予期せずパーティーに現れた。
He always turns up late to meetings.
He always turns up late to meetings.
彼はいつも会議に遅れて現れる。
They didn't turn up at the appointment.
They didn't turn up at the appointment.
彼らは約束の時間に現れなかった。
Turn up.
Turn up.
Turn up.
Turn up.
を見つける。現れる。
She turned up a missing document.
She turned up a missing document.
彼女は行方不明の書類を見つけた。
He turned up an interesting article.
He turned up an interesting article.
彼は興味深い記事を見つけた。
They turned up some old photos.
They turned up some old photos.
彼らはいくつかの古い写真を見つけた。
Turn up.
Turn up.
Under control.
Under control.
制御されて。
The situation is now under control.
The situation is now under control.
状況は現在制御されている。
They worked hard to get the fire under control.
They worked hard to get the fire under control.
彼らは火災を制御するために一生懸命働いた。
He kept his emotions under control.
He kept his emotions under control.
彼は自分の感情を制御した。
Under control.
Under control.
Under the influence of.
Under the influence of.
の影響下で。
He was driving under the influence of alcohol.
He was driving under the influence of alcohol.
彼はアルコールの影響下で運転していた。
She made the decision under the influence of stress.
She made the decision under the influence of stress.
彼女はストレスの影響下で決定を下した。
They acted under the influence of peer pressure.
They acted under the influence of peer pressure.
彼らは同調圧力の影響下で行動した。
Under the influence of.
Under the influence of.
Up to.
up to,
に至るまで。
The road is closed up to the bridge.
the road is closed up to the bridge.
道路は橋まで閉鎖されている。
He saved money up to his goal amount.
He saved money up to his goal amount.
彼は目標金額までお金を貯めた。
They worked up to the deadline.
They worked up to the deadline.
彼らは締め切りまで働いた。
Up to.
Up to,
Watch out for.
watch out for,
に注意する。
Watch out for cars when crossing the street.
watch out for cars when crossing the street.
通りを渡るときは車に注意して。
He told her to watch out for pickpockets.
He told her to watch out for pickpockets.
彼は彼女にスリに注意するように言った。
They need to watch out for changes in the weather.
They need to watch out for changes in the weather.
彼らは天候の変化に注意する必要がある。
Watch out for.
Watch out for,
Without fail.
without fail.
必ず。
She completes her assignments on time without fail.
She completes her assignments on time without fail.
彼女は必ず時間通りに課題を終わらせる。
He attends every meeting without fail.
He attends every meeting without fail.
彼は必ずすべての会議に出席する。
They follow the rules without fail.
They follow the rules without fail.
彼らは必ずルールに従う。
Without fail.
Without fail.
Work out.
Work out.
を解決する、うまくいく。
They worked out the problem together.
They worked out the problem together.
彼らは一緒に問題を解決した。
She worked out the details of the plan.
She worked out the details of the plan.
彼女は計画の詳細を解決した。
He worked out a solution on his own.
He worked out a solution on his own.
彼は自分で解決策を見つけた。
Work out.
Work out.
Be afraid of.
Be afraid of.
を恐れる。
She is afraid of heights.
She is afraid of heights.
彼女は高所恐怖症だ。
He is afraid of spiders.
He is afraid of spiders.
彼は雲を恐れている。
They are afraid of the dark.
They are afraid of the dark.
彼らは暗闇を恐れている。
Be afraid of.
Be afraid of.
Be angry with.
Be angry with.
に怒っている。
She is angry with him for being late.
She is angry with him for being late.
彼女は彼が遅れたことに怒っている。
He is angry with his friend for breaking the promise.
He is angry with his friend for breaking the promise.
彼は友達が約束を破ったことに怒っている。
They are angry with the company for poor service.
They are angry with the company for poor service.
彼らは会社の悪いサービスに怒っている。
Be angry with.
Be angry with.
Be ashamed of.
Be ashamed of.
を恥じている。
She is ashamed of her behavior.
She is ashamed of her behavior.
彼女は自分の行動を恥じている。
He is ashamed of failing the test.
He is ashamed of failing the test.
彼はテストに落ちたことを恥じている。
They are ashamed of their mistakes.
They are ashamed of their mistakes.
彼らは自分たちの間違いを恥じている。
Be ashamed of.
Be ashamed of.
Be associated with.
Be associated with.
と関係がある。
She is associated with the new project.
She is associated with the new project.
彼女は新しいプロジェクトに関係がある。
He is associated with the organization.
He is associated with the organization.
彼はその組織と関係がある。
They are associated with the recent events.
They are associated with the recent events.
彼らは最近の出来事と関係がある。
Be associated with.
Be associated with.
Be capable of.
Be capable of.
の能力がある。
She is capable of solving the problem.
She is capable of solving the problem.
彼女は問題を解決する能力がある。
He is capable of leading the team.
He is capable of leading the team.
彼はチームをリードする能力がある。
They are capable of achieving great things.
They are capable of achieving great things.
彼らは素晴らしいことを達成する能力がある。
Be capable of.
Be capable of.
Be excited about.
Be excited about.
に興奮している。
She is excited about the upcoming trip.
She is excited about the upcoming trip.
彼女は今度の旅行に興奮している。
He is excited about starting his new job.
He is excited about starting his new job.
彼は新しい仕事を始めることに興奮している。
They are excited about the concert tonight.
They are excited about the concert tonight.
彼らは今夜のコンサートに興奮している。
Be excited about.
Be excited about.
Be independent of.
Be independent of.
から独立している。
She is independent of her parents.
She is independent of her parents.
彼女は両親から独立している。
He wants to be independent of financial support.
He wants to be independent of financial support.
彼は経済的支援から独立したいと思っている。
They are independent of each other.
They are independent of each other.
彼らはお互いに独立している。
Be independent of.
Be independent of.
Call up.
Call up.
に電話をかける。
She called up her friend to chat.
She called up her friend to chat.
彼女はおしゃべりするために友達に電話をかけた。
He called up the office to confirm the appointment.
He called up the office to confirm the appointment.
彼は約束を確認するためにオフィスに電話をかけた。
They called up the customer service department.
They called up the customer service department.
彼らはカスタマーサービス部門に電話をかけた。
Call up.
Call up.
Carry on with.
Carry on with.
を続ける。
She decided to carry on with her studies.
She decided to carry on with her studies.
彼女は勉強を続けることに決めた。
He carried on with his work despite the noise.
He carried on with his work despite the noise.
彼は騒音にもかかわらず仕事を続けた。
They carried on with their journey.
They carried on with their journey.
彼らは旅を続けた。
Carry on with.
Carry on with.
Check out.
Check out.
チェックアウトする。
They checked out of the hotel early in the morning.
They checked out of the hotel early in the morning.
彼らは早朝にホテルをチェックアウトした。
She checked out the latest book from the library.
She checked out the latest book from the library.
彼女は図書館から最新の本をチェックアウトした。
He checked out of the hospital after recovering.
He checked out of the hospital after recovering.
彼は回復後に病院をチェックアウトした。
check out,
Check out.
come up to,
Come up to.
に達する。
the water level came up to his knees.
The water level came up to his knees.
水位は彼の膝まで達した。
Her performance came up to expectations.
Her performance came up to expectations.
彼女のパフォーマンスは期待に達した。
They came up to the required standards.
They came up to the required standards.
彼らは必要な基準に達した。
come up to,
Come up to.
fall in love with,
Fall in love with.
に恋をする。
she fell in love with him at first sight.
She fell in love with him at first sight.
彼女は一目で彼に恋をした。
He fell in love with the city during his visit.
He fell in love with the city during his visit.
彼は訪問中にその都市に恋をした。
They fell in love with each other quickly.
They fell in love with each other quickly.
彼らはすぐにお互いに恋をした。
fall in love with,
Fall in love with.
for now.
For now.
今のところ。
Let's leave it as it is for now.
Let's leave it as it is for now.
今のところ、そのままにしておこう。
For now, he is staying with a friend.
For now, he is staying with a friend.
今のところ、彼は友人のところに滞在している。
They decided to wait for now.
They decided to wait for now.
今のところ、彼らは待つことに決めた。
For now.
For now.
For the time being.
For the time being.
当分の間。
For the time being, they will work from home.
For the time being, they will work from home.
当分の間、彼らは自宅で仕事をする。
She is taking a break for the time being.
She is taking a break for the time being.
彼女は当分の間休憩をとっている。
He will stay in the country for the time being.
He will stay in the country for the time being.
彼は当分の間、田舎に滞在する。
For the time being.
For the time being.
Get along with.
Get along with.
と仲良くする。
She gets along with her coworkers.
She gets along with her coworkers.
彼女は同僚と仲良くしている。
He doesn't get along with his neighbors.
He doesn't get along with his neighbors.
彼は隣人と仲良くしていない。
They get along with each other very well.
They get along with each other very well.
彼らはお互いに非常に仲良くしている。
Get along with.
Get along with.
Get in.
Get in.
に乗る。
She got in the car and drove off.
She got in the car and drove off.
彼女は車に乗って走り去った。
He got in the taxi and gave the address.
He got in the taxi and gave the address.
彼はタクシーに乗り、住所を教えた。
They got in the bus just before it left.
They got in the bus just before it left.
彼らはバスが出発する直前に乗った。
Get in.
Get in.
Give into.
Give into.
に屈する。
She finally gave in to the pressure.
She finally gave in to the pressure.
彼女は最終的にプレッシャーに屈した。
He didn't want to give in to his fears.
He didn't want to give in to his fears.
彼は恐怖に屈したくなかった。
They gave in to the demands after negotiations.
They gave in to the demands after negotiations.
交渉の末、彼らは要求に屈した。
Give into.
Give into.
Give up on.
Give up on.
を諦める。
She gave up on her dream of becoming a dancer.
She gave up on her dream of becoming a dancer.
彼女はダンサーになる夢を諦めた。
He gave up on fixing the old car.
He gave up on fixing the old car.
彼は古い車の修理を諦めた。
They gave up on trying to change his mind.
They gave up on trying to change his mind.
彼らは彼の考えを変えようとすることを諦めた。
Give up on.
Give up on.
Go into.
Go into.
を調査する。
They went into the details of the project.
They went into the details of the project.
彼らはプロジェクトの詳細を調査した。
She went into the reasons behind the decision.
She went into the reasons behind the decision.
彼女はその決定の理由を調査した。
He went into the matter thoroughly.
He went into the matter thoroughly.
彼はその問題を徹底的に調査した。
Go into.
Go into.
Hold on to.
Hold on to.
を持ち続ける。
She held on to the hope of finding him.
She held on to the hope of finding him.
彼女は彼を見つける希望を持ち続けた。
He held on to the belief that he would succeed.
He held on to the belief that he would succeed.
彼は成功するという信念を持ち続けた。
They held on to the tradition for generations.
They held on to the tradition for generations.
彼らは世代にわたってその伝統を持ち続けた。
Hold on to.
Hold on to.
In case.
In case.
の場合に備えて。
Take an umbrella in case it rains.
Take an umbrella in case it rains.
雨が降る場合に備えて傘を持って行ってください。
She brought extra food in case of emergency.
She brought extra food in case of emergency.
彼女は緊急時に備えて余分な食料を持ってきた。
He took notes in case he needed to remember later.
He took notes in case he needed to remember later.
後で思い出す必要がある場合に備えて彼はメモを取った。
In case.
In case.
In person.
In person.
直接に。
She wants to meet him in person.
She wants to meet him in person.
彼女は彼に直接会いたい。
He delivered the message in person.
He delivered the message in person.
彼はメッセージを直接届けた。
They prefer to discuss the matter in person.
They prefer to discuss the matter in person.
彼らはその問題を直接話し合いたいと考えている。
In person.
In person.
In the absence of.
In the absence of.
の不在で。
In the absence of the manager, she took charge.
In the absence of the manager, she took charge.
マネージャーが不在の間、彼女が指揮を取った。
The meeting was cancelled in the absence of a quorum.
The meeting was cancelled in the absence of a quorum.
定則数が不在のため、会議はキャンセルされた。
In the absence of evidence, the case was dismissed.
In the absence of evidence, the case was dismissed.
証拠がないため、ケースは却下された。
In the absence of.
In the absence of.
Interfere with.
Interfere with.
を妨げる。
The noise interfered with her concentration.
The noise interfered with her concentration.
騒音が彼女の集中を妨げた。
He didn't want to interfere with their plans.
He didn't want to interfere with their plans.
彼は彼らの計画を妨げたくなかった。
They tried to interfere with the process.
They tried to interfere with the process.
彼らはプロセスを妨げようとした。
Interfere with.
Interfere with.
Keep from.
Keep from.
を控える。
She tried to keep from laughing during the meeting.
She tried to keep from laughing during the meeting.
彼女は会議中に笑うのを控えようとした。
He kept from eating sweets to stay healthy.
He kept from eating sweets to stay healthy.
彼は健康を保つために甘いものを食べるのを控えた。
They kept from making any hasty decisions.
They kept from making any hasty decisions.
彼らは急いで決定を下すのを控えた。
Keep from.
Keep from.
Keep one's word.
Keep one's word.
約束を守る。
She always keeps her word.
She always keeps her word.
彼女はいつも約束を守る。
He kept his word and finished the project on time.
He kept his word and finished the project on time.
彼は約束を守り、時間通りにプロジェクトを終わらせた。
They trust him because he keeps his word.
They trust him because he keeps his word.
彼らは彼が約束を守るので信頼している。
Keep one's word.
Keep one's word.
Go over.
Go over.
を見直す。
She went over her notes before the test.
She went over her notes before the test.
彼女はテストの前にノートを見直した。
He went over the contract carefully.
He went over the contract carefully.
彼は契約書を慎重に見直した。
They went over the plans one more time.
They went over the plans one more time.
彼らはもう一度計画を見直した。
Go over.
Go over.
Go without.
Go without.
なしで済ます。
They had to go without lunch because they were busy.
They had to go without lunch because they were busy.
彼らはせわしかったので昼食なしで済ませなければならなかった。
She decided to go without coffee for a week.
She decided to go without coffee for a week.
彼女は1週間コーヒーなしで過ごすことにした。
He can't go without his morning jog.
He can't go without his morning jog.
彼は朝のジョギングなしでは過ごせない。
Go without.
Go without.
Hand in.
Hand in.
を提出する。
She handed in her assignment on time.
She handed in her assignment on time.
彼女は時間通りに課題を提出した。
He handed in his resignation letter.
He handed in his resignation letter.
彼は辞表を提出した。
They handed in the report to the manager.
They handed in the report to the manager.
彼らは報告書をマネージャーに提出した。
Hand in.
Hand in.
Hang out.
Hang out.
ブラブラする。
They like to hang out at the mall.
They like to hang out at the mall.
彼らはショッピングモールでブラブラするのが好きだ。
She hangs out with her friends on weekends.
She hangs out with her friends on weekends.
彼女は週末に友達とブラブラする。
He spends his free time hanging out at the park.
He spends his free time hanging out at the park.
彼は自由な時間を公園でブラブラして過ごす。
Hang out.
Hang out.
Have an effect on.
Have an effect on.
に影響を与える。
The weather can have an effect on your mood.
The weather can have an effect on your mood.
天気は気分に影響を与えることがある。
Her speech had a great effect on the audience.
Her speech had a great effect on the audience.
彼女のスピーチは聴衆に大きな影響を与えた。
The new policy will have an effect on employees.
The new policy will have an effect on employees.
新しい方針は従業員に影響を与えるだろう。
Have an effect on.
Have an effect on.
Have faith in.
Have faith in.
を信じる。
She has faith in her abilities.
She has faith in her abilities.
彼女は自分の能力を信じている。
He has faith in the team's success.
He has faith in the team's success.
彼はチームの成功を信じている。
They have faith in their leader.
They have faith in their leader.
彼らはリーダーを信じている。
Have faith in.
Have faith in.
Make allowance for.
Make allowance for.
を考慮に入れる。
They made allowance for the delay in their plans.
They made allowance for the delay in their plans.
彼らは計画の遅れを考慮に入れた。
She made allowance for his inexperience.
She made allowance for his inexperience.
彼女は彼の未経験を考慮に入れた。
He made allowance for the weather when planning the event.
He made allowance for the weather when planning the event.
彼はイベントを計画する際に天候を考慮に入れた。
Make allowance for.
Make allowance for.
Name A after B.
Name A after B.
B の名前を取って A と名付ける。
They named their son after his grandfather.
They named their son after his grandfather.
彼らは祖父の名前を取って息子を名付けた。
She named her cat after her favorite singer.
She named her cat after her favorite singer.
彼女はお気に入りの歌手の名前を取って猫を名付けた。
He named the new project after a famous explorer.
He named the new project after a famous explorer.
彼は有名な探検家の名前を取って新しいプロジェクトを名付けた。
Name A after B.
Name A after B.
Of course.
Of course.
もちろん。
Of course, you can come to the party.
Of course, you can come to the party.
もちろん、パーティーに来てもいいですよ。
She said she would help, of course.
She said she would help, of course.
もちろん、彼女は手伝うと言った。
He agreed, of course.
He agreed, of course.
もちろん、彼は同意した。
Of course.
Of course.
On the contrary.
On the contrary.
それどころか。
He wasn't tired. On the contrary, he felt full of energy.
He wasn't tired. On the contrary, he felt full of energy.
彼は疲れていなかった。それどころか、エネルギーが満ちていた。
She didn't find it difficult. On the contrary, she thought it was easy.
She didn't find it difficult. On the contrary, she thought it was easy.
彼女はそれを難しいとは思わなかった。それどころか、簡単だと思った。
The weather wasn't bad. On the contrary, it was perfect for a picnic.
The weather wasn't bad. On the contrary, it was perfect for a picnic.
天気は悪くなかった。それどころか、ピクニックに最適だった。
On the contrary.
On the contrary.
On time.
On time.
時間通りに。
She always arrives on time.
She always arrives on time.
彼女はいつも時間通りに到着する。
The train left on time.
The train left on time.
電車は時間通りに出発した。
They completed the project on time.
They completed the project on time.
彼らはプロジェクトを時間通りに完了した。
On time.
On time.
Out of breath.
Out of breath.
息切れして。
She was out of breath after running up the stairs.
She was out of breath after running up the stairs.
彼女は階段を駆け上がった後、息切れしていた。
He was out of breath from playing soccer.
He was out of breath from playing soccer.
彼はサッカーをして息切れしていた。
They were out of breath after the workout.
They were out of breath after the workout.
彼らはトレーニング後に息切れしていた。
Out of breath.
Out of breath.
Out of the question.
Out of the question.
論外で。
Going out in this storm is out of the question.
Going out in this storm is out of the question.
この嵐の中外でするのは論外だ。
Quitting now is out of the question.
Quitting now is out of the question.
今やめるのは論外だ。
For her, missing the event was out of the question.
For her, missing the event was out of the question.
彼女にとって、そのイベントを欠席するのは論外だった。
Out of the question.
Out of the question.
Pay a visit to.
Pay a visit to.
を訪問する。
She plans to pay a visit to her grandparents.
She plans to pay a visit to her grandparents.
彼女は祖父母を訪問する予定だ。
He paid a visit to the museum.
He paid a visit to the museum.
彼は博物館を訪問した。
They paid a visit to their friend's new house.
They paid a visit to their friend's new house.
彼らは友人の新しい家を訪問した。
Pay a visit to.
Pay a visit to.
Persist in.
Persist in.
に固執する。
She persisted in her efforts despite the setbacks.
She persisted in her efforts despite the setbacks.
彼女は挫折にもかかわらず努力を続けた。
He persisted in asking questions until he understood.
He persisted in asking questions until he understood.
彼は理解するまで質問を続けた。
They persisted in their quest for justice.
They persisted in their quest for justice.
彼らは正義の追求に固執した。
Persist in.
Persist in.
Point out.
Point out.
を指摘する。
She pointed out the mistakes in the report.
She pointed out the mistakes in the report.
彼女は報告書の間違いを指摘した。
He pointed out the benefits of the new system.
He pointed out the benefits of the new system.
彼は新しいシステムの利点を指摘した。
They pointed out the need for more research.
They pointed out the need for more research.
彼らはさらに研究が必要だと指摘した。
Point out.
Point out.
Put out.
Put out.
を消す。
He put out the fire with a bucket of water.
He put out the fire with a bucket of water.
彼はバケツの水で火を消した。
She put out the candles before leaving the room.
She put out the candles before leaving the room.
彼女は部屋を出る前にキャンドルを消した。
They put out the lights when they went to bed.
They put out the lights when they went to bed.
彼らは寝るときにライトを消した。
Put out.
Put out.
Run out.
Run out.
使い果たす。
They ran out of milk, so they went to the store.
They ran out of milk, so they went to the store.
彼らは牛乳を使い果たしたので、店に行った。
She ran out of ideas for the project.
She ran out of ideas for the project.
彼女はプロジェクトのアイデアを使い果たした。
He ran out of patience waiting in line.
He ran out of patience waiting in line.
彼は列に並んでいる間に忍耐力を使い果たした。
Run out.
Run out.
Set in.
Set in.
始まる。
The rainy season has set in.
The rainy season has set in.
雨季が始まった。
A feeling of unease set in among the workers.
A feeling of unease set in among the workers.
労働者の間に不安感が広がった。
Winter has set in, bringing cold weather.
Winter has set in, bringing cold weather.
冬が始まり、寒い天気がやってきた。
Set in.
Set in.
Set out for.
Set out for.
に向けて出発する。
They set out for the mountains early in the morning.
They set out for the mountains early in the morning.
彼らは早朝に山に向けて出発した。
She set out for the airport with plenty of time.
She set out for the airport with plenty of time.
彼女は時間を十分にとって空港に向けて出発した。
He set out for a new adventure abroad.
He set out for a new adventure abroad.
彼は新しい冒険に向けて海外に出発した。
Set out for.
Set out for.
Stand up for.
Stand up for.
を支持する。
She stood up for her beliefs during the debate.
She stood up for her beliefs during the debate.
彼女は討論の間、自分の信念を支持した。
He stood up for his friend in the argument.
He stood up for his friend in the argument.
彼は議論の中で友人を支持した。
They stood up for their rights in the meeting.
They stood up for their rights in the meeting.
彼らは会議で自分たちの権利を支持した。
Stand up for.
Stand up for.
Take into account.
Take into account.
を考慮に入れる。
They took into account the weather when planning the event.
They took into account the weather when planning the event.
彼らはイベントを計画する際に天気を考慮に入れた。
She took into account his experience before making the decision.
She took into account his experience before making the decision.
彼女は決定を下す前に彼の経験を考慮に入れた。
He took into account all the feedback from his team.
He took into account all the feedback from his team.
彼はチームからのフィードバックをすべて考慮に入れた。
Take into account.
Take into account.
Take on.
Take on.
を引き受ける。
She decided to take on the new project.
She decided to take on the new project.
彼女は新しいプロジェクトを引き受けることにした。
He took on more responsibilities at work.
He took on more responsibilities at work.
彼は職場でより多くの責任を引き受けた。
They took on the challenge with enthusiasm.
They took on the challenge with enthusiasm.
彼らは熱意を持って挑戦を引き受けた。
Take on.
Take on.
Think over.
Think over.
をよく考える。
She needs to think over the offer before deciding.
She needs to think over the offer before deciding.
彼女は決定する前にその申し出をよく考える必要がある。
He thought over the problem carefully.
He thought over the problem carefully.
彼は問題を慎重に考えた。
They thought over the plan and made some changes.
They thought over the plan and made some changes.
彼らは計画をよく考え、いくつかの変更を加えた。
Think over.
Think over.
Turn down.
Turn down.
を拒絶する。
She turned down the job offer.
She turned down the job offer.
彼女は仕事のオファーを拒絶した。
He turned down the invitation to the party.
He turned down the invitation to the party.
彼はパーティーの招待を拒絶した。
They turned down the request for more time.
They turned down the request for more time.
彼らはもっと時間が欲しいという要求を拒絶した。
Turn down.
Turn down.
Wait on.
Wait on.
に使える。
The waiter waited on the guests attentively.
The waiter waited on the guests attentively.
ウェイターは丁寧に客に仕えた。
She waited on her elderly parents.
She waited on her elderly parents.
彼女は高齢の両親に仕えた。
He waited on his sick friend.
He waited on his sick friend.
彼は病気の友人に仕えた。
Wait on.
Wait on.
Worry about.
Worry about.
を心配する。
She worries about her children's future.
She worries about her children's future.
彼女は子供たちの将来を心配している。
He worries about his health.
He worries about his health.
彼は自分の健康を心配している。
They worry about the impact of climate change.
They worry about the impact of climate change.
彼らは気候変動の影響を心配している。
Worry about.
Worry about.
Depend on.
Depend on.
に頼る。
She depends on her parents for financial support.
She depends on her parents for financial support.
彼女は経済的支援を親に頼っている。
He depends on his friends for advice.
He depends on his friends for advice.
彼は友人にアドバイスを頼っている。
They depend on each other for emotional support.
They depend on each other for emotional support.
彼らは感情的支援をお互いに頼っている。
Depend on.
Depend on.
Fall behind.
Fall behind.
に遅れる。
She fell behind in her studies.
She fell behind in her studies.
彼女は勉強に遅れた。
He fell behind on his work.
He fell behind on his work.
彼は仕事に遅れた。
They fell behind schedule.
They fell behind schedule.
彼らはスケジュールに遅れた。
Fall behind.
Fall behind.
Fill in.
Fill in.
に記入する。
She filled in the application form.
She filled in the application form.
彼女は申請書に記入した。
He filled in the blanks with the correct answers.
He filled in the blanks with the correct answers.
彼は空欄に正しい答えを記入した。
They filled in the survey online.
They filled in the survey online.
彼らはオンラインでアンケートに記入した。
Fill in.
Fill in.
Focus on.
Focus on.
に集中する。
She needs to focus on her studies.
She needs to focus on her studies.
彼女は勉強に集中する必要がある。
He focuses on his goals.
He focuses on his goals.
彼は自分の目標に集中している。
They focus on improving their skills.
They focus on improving their skills.
彼らは自分たちのスキル向上に集中している。
Focus on.
Focus on.
In accordance with.
In accordance with.
に従って。
The project will be completed in accordance with the plan.
The project will be completed in accordance with the plan.
プロジェクトは計画に従って完了する予定だ。
They acted in accordance with the regulations.
They acted in accordance with the regulations.
彼らは規則に従って行動した。
She made the decision in accordance with the guidelines.
She made the decision in accordance with the guidelines.
彼女はガイドラインに従って決定を下した。
In accordance with.
In accordance with.
In detail.
In detail.
詳細に。
She explained the process in detail.
She explained the process in detail.
彼女はプロセスを詳細に説明した。
He described the incident in detail.
He described the incident in detail.
彼は事件を詳細に述べた。
They reviewed the report in detail.
They reviewed the report in detail.
彼らは報告書を詳細に見直した。
In detail.
In detail.
In general.
In general.
一般的に。
In general, people prefer summer to winter.
In general, people prefer summer to winter.
一般的に、人々は夏より冬を好む。
In general, he wakes up early.
In general, he wakes up early.
一般的に、彼は早起きだ。
In general, the weather is mild in this region.
In general, the weather is mild in this region.
一般的に、この地域の天気は温暖だ。
In general.
In general.
In other words.
In other words.
言い換えれば。
He is very generous. In other words, he loves to share.
He is very generous. In other words, he loves to share.
彼はとても気前がいい。言い換えれば、彼はシェアするのが好きだ。
She is very determined. In other words, she never gives up.
She is very determined. In other words, she never gives up.
彼女はとても決意が固い。言い換えれば、彼女は決して諦めない。
They are very cautious. In other words, they think things through carefully.
They are very cautious. In other words, they think things through carefully.
彼らは非常に慎重だ。言い換えれば、彼らは物事を慎重に考える。
In other words.
In other words.
In the middle of.
In the middle of.
の最中に。
She was in the middle of a meeting when he called.
She was in the middle of a meeting when he called.
彼が電話をかけたとき、彼女は会議の最中だった。
He is in the middle of writing a report.
He is in the middle of writing a report.
彼はレポートを書いている最中だ。
They are in the middle of a discussion.
They are in the middle of a discussion.
彼らは議論の最中だ。
In the middle of.
In the middle of.
Leave for.
Leave for.
に向かって出発する。
She left for work early in the morning.
She left for work early in the morning.
彼女は早朝に仕事に向かって出発した。
He left for the airport at noon.
He left for the airport at noon.
彼は正午に空港に向かって出発した。
They left for vacation yesterday.
They left for vacation yesterday.
彼らは昨日休暇に出発した。
Leave for.
Leave for.
Look after.
Look after.
の世話をする。
She looks after her younger brother.
She looks after her younger brother.
彼女は弟の世話をしている。
He looks after the house while his parents are away.
He looks after the house while his parents are away.
彼は両親が不在の間、家の世話をしている。
They look after their elderly neighbor.
They look after their elderly neighbor.
彼らは高齢の隣人の世話をしている。
Look after.
Look after.
Look out for.
Look out for.
に注意する。
Look out for cars when crossing the street.
Look out for cars when crossing the street.
通りを渡るときは車に注意して。
He told her to look out for pickpockets.
He told her to look out for pickpockets.
彼は彼女にスリに注意するように言った。
They need to look out for changes in the weather.
They need to look out for changes in the weather.
彼らは天候の変化に注意する必要がある。
Look out for.
Look out for.
Look up to.
Look up to.
を尊敬する。
She looks up to her older sister.
She looks up to her older sister.
彼女は姉を尊敬している。
He looks up to his mentor.
He looks up to his mentor.
彼はメンターを尊敬している。
They look up to their teacher.
They look up to their teacher.
彼らは先生を尊敬している。
Look up to.
Look up to.
Make sure.
Make sure.
確かめる。
She made sure the door was locked before leaving.
She made sure the door was locked before leaving.
彼女は出かける前にドアがロックされていることを確かめた。
He made sure to bring his keys.
He made sure to bring his keys.
彼は鍵を持ってきたことを確かめた。
They made sure everything was in order.
They made sure everything was in order.
彼らはすべてが整っていることを確かめた。
Make sure.
Make sure.
Make up for.
Make up for.
の埋め合わせをする。
She worked hard to make up for lost time.
She worked hard to make up for lost time.
彼女は失った時間を埋め合わせるために一生懸命働いた。
He made up for his mistake by apologizing.
He made up for his mistake by apologizing.
彼は謝罪することで自分のミスを埋め合わせた。
They made up for the delay by working overtime.
They made up for the delay by working overtime.
彼らは残業することで遅れを埋め合わせた。
Make up for.
Make up for.
On duty.
On duty.
勤務中で。
The nurse is on duty tonight.
The nurse is on duty tonight.
看護師は今夜勤務中だ。
He is always on duty during weekends.
He is always on duty during weekends.
彼は週末にいつも勤務中だ。
They are on duty from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
They are on duty from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
彼らは午前9時から午後5時まで勤務中だ。
On duty.
On duty.
On second thought.
On second thought.
考え直して。
On second thought, she decided to stay home.
On second thought, she decided to stay home.
考え直して、彼女は家にいることにした。
He agreed at first, but on second thought, he changed his mind.
He agreed at first, but on second thought, he changed his mind.
彼は最初は同意したが、考え直して気が変わった。
They decided, on second thought, to take a different route.
They decided, on second thought, to take a different route.
彼らは考え直して別のルートを取ることに決めた。
On second thought.
On second thought.
Out of place.
Out of place.
場違いで。
She felt out of place at the formal event.
She felt out of place at the formal event.
彼女は正式なイベントで場違いに感じた。
He was dressed casually and felt out of place.
He was dressed casually and felt out of place.
彼はカジュアルな服装で場違いに感じた。
They felt out of place in the new environment.
They felt out of place in the new environment.
彼らは新しい環境で場違いに感じた。
Out of place.
Out of place.
Put aside.
Put aside.
を取っておく。
She put aside some money for her vacation.
She put aside some money for her vacation.
彼女は休暇のためにお金を取っておいた。
He put aside his work to help her.
He put aside his work to help her.
彼は彼女を手伝うために仕事を取っておいた。
They put aside their differences and worked together.
They put aside their differences and worked together.
彼らは違いを取っておいて一緒に働いた。
Put aside.
Put aside.